EWTV, at the heart of Europe.
Chinese officials have announced last night that a total amount of 80 people has been killed in yesterday's airplane crash in the province of Jiangling, northern China. The Russian government further confirmed that President Dmitry Medvedev is among the victims, which was confirmed in a press statement earlier this day. Further, the Russian government announced that it was revenge to whomever is responsible for this attack. To our understanding, this plane crash was not a coincidence, and whoever is responsible for it will feel the full extent of our revenge. The Russian people will not rest until justice is done. We will mourn our beloved presidents and turn our anger against those who ever murdered him. Former Prime Minister Vladimir Putin was further installed as interim president, which is codified in Article 92(3) of the Russian Constitution. Chinese President Hu announced that Russian and Chinese authorities will launch a joint investigation of yesterday's plane crash. This terrible disaster shall not impact the long and deep friendship between the Russian and Chinese people. United by history, we will stand together and will not rest until the events surrounding the death of President Medvedev have been investigated thoroughly. Meanwhile, many have raised questions over the reasons that these high-ranking officials, including President Medvedev, were on board on the flight to Vladivostok. This comes to a price, as usually meetings on such high level are not held at a secret location. All governments of the BRIC states have refused to comment on the exact nature of the meetings, saying it was merely a follow-up agreement to the last summit of the Russian Federation to the United Nations in order to give us a short-term interview regarding the evidence in Jiangling province, northeast China. Good evening.
Good evening.
Please elaborate on the further intra-Russian relations now that it's confirmed that President Medvedev has died. Who's going to take over?
But Mr. Putin is going to take over for the moment, as is in the constitution.
And would he be seen as an interim president? Or can he also be seen as a step of Putin trying to take power and maybe to kill President Medvedev?
I'm not at liberty to share this kind of information.
So then coming to the Russia-Chinese relations, and how far do you think they changed due to the death of President Medvedev, keeping in mind that also Chinese officials died in the plane crash?
Our relations have sustained very, very well, if not become even stronger. We are now in communication with ambassadors in China, and they are, as soon as possible, they will investigate the situation and let us know.
And you're not afraid that North Korea might be seen as a threat regarding the Russia-Chinese relations in the future?
North Korea, we are at quite good relations with North Korea, as well as we are very good in communication with China, and we do not suspect them to have involvement in this, even though it has happened quite close to the border.
But there are rumors that North Korean forces are coming to the border to increase their military presence.
Well, we shall not subside to rumors and assume information just upon rumors.
Regarding this investigation, how come that the Russian president is on board of a passenger airplane and not on his presidential illusion, flying with a normal trading relation, not taking his presidential airplane, which might be seen as a huge risk, as we saw right now?
This was decided upon after the meeting, which they were going to finalize the agreements upon after arriving to the destination. Because this meeting of BRIC was about the environment, it was a very green-focused meeting, there was no threat that we could have assumed or that we could have predicted. And this kind of information wasn't released. So there wasn't, it was very highly classified as to who was on that flight and what kind of flight it was.
Chinese officials have further announced that a special branch of the Chinese police has arrested a male suspect in Jilin province near the town of Jieyang, which is right across the city of Hyesan, North Korea. The 20-year-old man was arrested in connection with yesterday's airplane crash. Chinese authorities have further divorced several ground-air missiles within the same conduct. While Chinese authorities have not released any further information about the suspect, local residents told Chinese reporters that the suspect has moved in the area only recently. Because of his distinctly foreign accent, yet his Chinese experience, One local resident became suspicious after yesterday's events and informed the authorities. Then a man had been living across the street of him with only 3 other family members who were never seen to have left the house beforehand. Chancellor Angela Merkel has expressed her sincerest condolences to the people of Russia as well as to the other BRIC countries. She further said that the German government supports any independent investigation into the incident. Sources suggested yesterday that a technical error could be responsible and led to an EADS price to fall by 18%. EADS is a global pan-European aerospace and defense corporation and is leading in defense and military contracts worldwide. The group includes Airbus as the leading manufacturer of commercial aircraft, with Airbus Military covering tanker, transport and mission aircraft, Eurocopter as the world's largest Eurocopter supplier, Astrium, the European leader in space programs from Ariane to Galileo, as well as Cassidian, the provider of comprehensive and integral system solutions for aerial, land, naval and civilian security applications.